I sat down with Lisa McPhee, the bold and fearless CEO and founder of the Toronto-based Lisa McPhee Coaching Academy, who had a successful career in the staffing and consulting industry that accumulated as an ERG women's leader and diversity champion. A catalyst event pushed her to realize it was time to start living her true authentic self and champion women's empowerment. She left the corporate world in 2019 and created her academy that specializes in helping women get unstuck in their careers. Join us as she talks about unleashing her powerhouse within. Your website. First of all, I have to say I really admire the content. It is direct, it's bold, and it's real. And it's you.
I got success fairly quickly, but then what happens is that the goalpost moves because you redefine what success looks like.
Yes.
And then you think, oh my gosh, like you start to get imposter syndrome, like who am I to do this? And then you make yourself small. And this is not a conscious thing, by the way. Like I didn't consciously say, oh no, slow down. But then what happens is you slow down and you're like, wait a second, I was awesome yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on today. And then you have to talk yourself out of being less awesome because your awesomeness is on the other side of your fear, So I spent about 20 years in the corporate world. I started my career as a recruiter. And I worked agency recruiting for about 10 years. And then I transitioned from recruiting into management consulting. I worked for a large global consulting company. And then I transitioned a year and a half. I feel like I've been doing what I do now, which is career coaching, transitioned out of the corporate world, started my own business as a career coach. And I've been doing that for the past almost 2 years.
What is it that made you focus on women in particular?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. What happened was when I had these opportunities, women would inevitably come up to me after and ask me all these questions about, where do I get my confidence from and where does all this come from? And then they tell me stories about, just them being disempowered in the workplace. And look, Tennille, it could just be one isolated example, but it would stay with them. And they would internalize. And then another bad thing might happen, which again would be an isolated incident. We all have superpowers, and women in particular, and women they tend not to even recognize how amazing they are. And so I hope that answers your question. Like that's how I really got into it. And look, I do work with men, but I'm very committed to specifically working with women and helping them just own their power, because I believe that every single woman is powerful and truly can change the world. They just need to believe it.
They do. We absolutely do. And you're right about that, because we tend to, and I like the way you put it about stacking on top of one another. I know for me personally, I have internalized things, and I've sometimes let it fester, and not fester to the point where it was like, okay, I'm going to have to come up with a solution, but you kind of start to fester and make it kind of turns into its own life, if you will, like those feelings. And what we don't realize, or what I didn't realize, is like I was letting that get in the way of myself and my progress and my continuity and my power. So it certainly sometimes it takes a village to really support one another and to help get ourselves out of our own way when it comes to creating barriers and those kind of challenges for ourselves that don't need to be there.
For sure.
So I really like too that you are not only focused on women empowerment, but women supporting women. For you, do you feel like that has been your main mantra since you started your own business, or have you always felt like that?
I have had a lot of people support me throughout my career, both men and women. But I do believe, I truly believe that we are all better together. And it's nice to just not feel alone, right? So, the programs that I've developed in my coaching business are group coaching programs, and they have the component where everybody's supporting each other. It's so much better. It's community. And, especially, if anything COVID has taught us, it's that we need community. And I have had so many personal instances throughout this pandemic where people have really come to support me, even in times when I didn't necessarily know I needed support or think I needed support. And so that's the great thing about community and about being in a group setting is people will just love on you when you don't even know that that's what you need.
How do you go about delivering those programs?
Okay, so I have a very targeted marketing strategy. I have a webinar. So everything is built on a 45-minute presentation, which is a webinar, which is training. So I deliver training. That is aligned to Facebook ads. So I run Facebook ads. The call to action in the Facebook ad is to watch the webinar. At the end of the webinar, the call to action is to book a call with me. Book a call with me, then I speak to the individuals who are my targeted audience, by the way, because you can target women, you can target demographic, you can target age group. So I work with women from 35 to, well, my target market is between 35 and 55. Most of the women I work with are between 45 and 60. Like, you know, toward the end of their career, they have another 10, 15 years left. They're too young to retire, but they're feeling a little bit like, I don't know what my next act is going to be, but it's going to be my last act. So I want to get it right.
Make it a good one.
Yeah, I want it to be a good one. Like, yeah, because you're not done yet, you know? And
you're not done, you're just beginning.
So then I get on the phone with them. When I get on the phone with them, that's when we really uncover, you know, what's not working in your career. Where do you want to go? Where's the gap? If I can help them bridge the gap, then we talk about what my program looks like, which is another question. And then I enroll them in a program. How I deliver the program, it's all online training. So it's a group setting. So I have, my signature program is called From Stack to Fulfilled, and it's an 8-week program. And it consists of online training, group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. So it's really transformational, and it's a holistic approach. So the online training modules get dropped every week. So, you know, week 1, we start with getting you clear on where you want to go. It's very outcome focused, right? So it's not just, here's a module, watch it, do some exercises. It's not like that. You watch the module just so that you can work around your own schedule, you know. And then we have a weekly group coaching call, and then the women in the program come to that call. And that's when they really, I work with them to really uncover what's going on, what their challenges are to get to the next step. And then we have one-on-one. The one-on-one coaching calls are at week 1, week 4, and week 8. So week 1, just, you know, where do you want to be at the end of 8 weeks? Week 4, just to make sure you're on track. And then week 8, to ensure that you're feeling confident to go off and get your dream career. We talked about this a little bit before the camera was rolling. Is we as human beings tend to catastrophize things like, oh my gosh, like the world is falling down, right? And my approach to that is to like stop myself, because I am aware that while I can't control anybody or anything, I can control me. Like I am in control of me, and it is literally the only thing I can control, or the only thing I have control over.
Yeah.
So when something happens, I do stop and kind of take a breath and ask myself, what do I want? What do I want? Every single day, I want to get calls booked. So I ask myself a different question, which is, how can I get a call booked? Not why did this happen to me? Like, you know, one of my coaches said to me, and it really resonated with me. He said, you know, problems are, you're always going to have problems. And the bigger your business gets, the bigger your problems get. So I just expect to have problems, but the suffering is optional.
Why do we do what we do to ourselves? You know, why do we punish ourselves? Why do we give ourselves such a hard time? Why is it we refuse to accept that, you know what, we're human and things are going to happen and things aren't always going to work out the way you wanted it to, but you have to look at it as a learning opportunity, not an opportunity to beat yourself up, but a learning opportunity. So, I mean, I feel like if more people incorporated that way of thinking, going back to growth mindset, the world would probably be a better place. But again, it goes back to, okay, how much can I, you know, torture myself in the grand scheme of things, right? When really that problem is maybe not even a problem. It's an opportunity to learn. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. If you've never done something before, and we tend to do this as adults, it's so crazy. If you've never done something before, why would you expect that you're going to do it well the first time you do it? If I was still working in the corporate world, I don't know that I would have been
Yeah.
as forthright in my conversations, because you just feel so guarded, because you're
No.
protecting you're protecting your job, or you're protecting your
No.
salary, or you're protecting your next promotion or whatever. And you don't when I say you, I mean me. I'm just going to say me. When I was working in the corporate world, I loved my job. I had great opportunities, but I never felt like I could be the true authentic me. And which doesn't mean I couldn't be myself sometimes, but I
Yeah.
definitely couldn't be myself all the time. And
Mhm.
I absolutely could never be my true self 100%, because I am out there.
For you, was that one of the triggers? Like we talked about the trigger already for you, but was
Mhm.
it something that again was, uh, again, where you're like, you know what? All of a sudden the wheels started turning and you decided, okay, I'm going to break out and do my thing because I want to encourage other people to be themselves.
I grew up in a very small village in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
I remember you
And
telling me that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and people
Yeah.
find it like they find it very difficult to believe. And so I
Yeah.
grew up in a very homogenous place where, people didn't make a lot of money, everybody was super
Mhm.
hardworking, and I I grew up in the most loving place, and I hated every minute of it. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money, live in the city, chase the dream. I use in air quotes, the dream, whatever
The
the heck
dream.
that is, right? It was whatever I made up in my mind.
Yeah.
And so my entire life, from right after university, so 20 nothing, up to when I found myself, mid 40s,
Hmm.
I felt like I was chasing success. Like I was chasing, and success meant money. I was chasing money.
Yeah.
I was chasing money, I was chasing status, I was chasing title. Okay. And I got those things, like not at the level I wanted, but I mean, I got those things. If you look at the highlight reel on my social media, my life looked
Mhm.
pretty freaking good. Okay. So I got those things. But then, I found myself mid 40s, and I will tell you, I just turned 50 this year, and I planned to turn 50. Like I spent the last 3 years planning my 50th birthday, and I don't mean planning the day. I mean, just planning like this is a turning point in my life.
Yeah.
And I felt that I hadn't really been, while I was intentional about, I knew what I wanted my life to look like, I wasn't living intentionally.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
did wake up one day and say, I don't know what the next stage of my life is going to look like, but I know I want it to be by my own design.
Yeah.
And that happened when I was 49 years old, and I stepped off a plane in Tulum. My phone was buzzing. My 39-year-old cousin passed away. He left behind
Oh.
an 8-year-old daughter. And I promised myself and him that for the rest of my life, I would do something that mattered, because he didn't chance to.
So, with regards to the transition now, like when you left corporate,
Mhm.
tell me about that.
I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful that I got to have the experience I got. So here's what happened. So I came back from Tulum in March.
Yeah.
And I hired a business coach to help me just figure out what I wanted to do, and just kind of figure out where I was going to start and what I was going to do. So I hired a business coach, and she was amazing, and she helped me decide I was going to be a career coach. Like we worked through everything. And then my biggest challenge after that was, oh, how am I going to transition from my corporate job to doing this?
Mm.
Because I knew I could do them both, because it wasn't a conflict of interest, but I also knew I couldn't just quit my job, right? Like I needed
Mm.
that salary. But the universe was working for me, and I got fired from a job. And so that happened in June, and that allowed me to invest in my business and do what I
Wow.
wanted to do anyway. So it's really like perfect timing. I know it sounds like, wow, she got lucky. I mean, there was nothing lucky about it. It was like the most terrible thing
Yeah.
and the most amazing thing at the same time.
So what was the networking like? Like, what did you have to do, you know, to help build that up, especially if you've not done it before? Even though I would say like the kind of work that we were in, a lot of
Mhm.
coaching is involved. I think what people don't understand is as a recruiter,
Mhm.
and I mean a darn good recruiter, you're
Mhm.
not just sitting there picking up the phone and saying, hey, this looks like a great match, do you want it? There's a lot of work that goes into recruitment. Recruitment is it's coaching, it's guiding. There's some psychology involved. It can be an emotional process. There's so many things, as we both know, as
Mhm.
recruiters.
Mhm.
So for me, we were talking earlier about even credentials. Yeah, credentials are good to have. People want to see that, you can back it up with some sort of formal training. But
Mhm.
I also look at life in general, your experience, as
Mhm.
the best formal training that you will ever get.
Mhm.
And because you've experienced different things, you're able to apply that to your methodologies when you're helping other people.
You asked me what my biggest challenge was, and I said mindset, but I'm gonna take it back and say that one of my biggest challenges, because I had been a consultant for 10 years, and consultants basically tell people what to do, which when I worked the corporate world was my favorite thing. But a coach gets you to, like, coaches you to be the best version of yourself so that you can get the outcome you want. So my biggest challenge when I started was moving from the identity of a consultant to a coach.
Yes.
And I did, and to be fair, I did get credentialized. I did take training in how to be a coach. I
Yeah,
literally, when I say I have a
it's
coach
good.
for everything, I have a coach for everything.
Knowledge is power. Education, something that I probably will never stop doing either. But you've got that life experience in itself, right? That
Mhm.
career that you're able to apply all of that to doing what you do, and it makes it even better, the results.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, we talked about working with women. I've gone through all of the things that my clients are going through, all of the feelings they're feeling. I felt that. That's why I built that's what I built my
Amazing.
program around.
Are you where you want to be?
Oh
Right.
God, no. No, I'm not where I want to be. Do people say yes to that?
No. I've already interviewed 5 people. There's 3 more coming, or 4 people, 3 more coming. And the answer has been like, no, no. Like, it was like the most shocking question.
Am I where I
I think
want to
that's my
be?
signature question.
Yeah. Am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. Am I where I should be? Like, and listen, when you move from corporate into entrepreneurship, you become a little woo woo. And I hesitate to say this, but since I've been speaking bold, showing up in bold truth, I'm going to speak bold truth now.
Just say it.
I am exactly where I need to be. And frankly, all of the things, like all of the struggles, all the challenges that come up along the way, they're here for a reason. Like, they're here to teach me something, They
Yeah.
really are. And if I look at every challenge that I have with that lens on, then I see the gift in it. Okay, don't let anyone steal your dream. Surround yourself with people who believe in your dream.
Yeah.
Because they're a dream stealer all around. And look, I'm not saying they're bad people. These could be people that just they could be your family members, right? They're often people who are closest to you, and they do it out of love because they don't give. And it's not that they don't believe in you; they don't want you to get hurt. They don't want they believe they're trying to protect you, but it's because they give up on their dream. And I promise you, anything has nothing to do with you and your ability.